Hi guys, today it is time for another Top 5 Wednesday. This week's topic are your top 5 settings you want to see more of, and this is another very exciting topic. I think it's gonna be really interesting. Number 5 is a world that I kind of talk a lot about because it is an aspect that doesn't really get explored in this series, and that is, probably gonna pronounce it totally wrong, Ilia from the Selection series by Kiara Cass. As I said, I talk about this a lot because the world building in the series is really not great, but I do feel like I really want to see more of this world. What we get of it and what we know of it definitely sounds interesting, but we just don't know enough, and we don't really have a good idea of how the world works. But I do feel like the main concept of it is really interesting, and it is a dystopian world that I personally wish we really would have gotten a bit more of, and I just really want to see how it works. And since we really follow the characters over a long time span, I just also want to see how it develops, because we do see that there's lots of problems and we do kind of see a change in it, but we don't really get the effects of it. So this is definitely something I want to see more of. My number 4 is the Seven Kingdoms from the Graceling Realm trilogy by Christine Cashore, and this is the complete opposite to the Selection series. In this, I feel like the world building we get is really great, and I just simply want to have more of it. I want to know more of the world. I want to learn more. I want to see new characters, because in this world we do get kind of people with special abilities. I just want to see more on how people live there, and yeah, it's really not only wanting to explore more of how just the Seven Kingdoms look and how, you know, people live there. It's also just about the abilities. This is really one where I just would gladly take another trilogy with different characters and see more of the world and see more of the magic. Next we have one very specific city, and that is Black London from the Shades of Magic trilogy by V.E. Schwab. I do love the whole world, and I would love to see more of the whole world, but I think mostly Black London is where the kind of mysteries lie, and I do feel like White London is incredibly interesting and I want to see more of it, but I have very high hopes of that happening in the third book, so I did kind of decide to go for Black London, because Black London is just such a kind of closed space, and we just get all these mysteries of the history of it, but we don't actually know what happened. So I feel like this is one where it would be really great to explore what kind of really happened, how life was before shit went down, what is going on there now, if anything exists there now. I mean, apparently it kind of does. What happened to it, how life was before it. There's just so much more to tell about Black London. I would love to see more of its present and of its past, and who knows, maybe of its future. My number 2 and my number 1 are honestly not really surprising ones, and I feel like they will make lots of lists, and especially for me these are not surprising ones. My number 2 is Panem from the Hunger Games trilogy by Suzanne Collins. Well, I talk about this so much, it's always like a little hard for me to even know where to start, and then I just get rambly at some point because I can't stop talking about it once I've really started. But I just talked several times about how I want to know more about the world. I feel like the world building is so good from what we get and what we need to know in this trilogy and in this kind of story, that we all have a really good picture in our head of what the world looks like. But I just want to have like canon things. I just want to have more things that come from Suzanne Collins that tell us things about the world. I want to know what exactly happened that, you know, Panem is like it is, how the capital came to be, and I want to know who decided the Hunger Games were a good idea. I mean, we kind of know, but I just want to get into more details about this. I want to see all of the Hunger Games, especially obviously the Quarter Quells. I want them so bad. Like, I would read a history book, something like the Silmarillion, but for Panem. I would so read this. This world is so great and already so fleshed out, but you know, you can only do so much in 3 books, that I feel like this world would totally deserve a kind of history book and give us more info in it. And my number 1 would obviously have to be the Wizarding World from Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. I am incredibly excited for Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. It's gonna be amazing to see more of just the Wizarding World in general, but especially US Wizarding World. It's really like we all lived in Hogwarts and Hogsmeade and around kind of the London-based stuff for so long that I feel like many of us kind of forgot that there's more, that obviously there's not only wizards in England. Yeah, we have the Tri-Wizard Tournament and we have the kind of Quidditch things, but still I feel like many of us kind of sometimes forget how much more there is to this world. And that is definitely why I really love Pottermore, because it opens up so many of the things that are in this world. Every time they tell us something new, like when they, talked about the other wizarding schools in the world, it just made more questions come up in my mind, like what is with houses in these different schools. And every time something about the world gets revealed, it just opens up so many more questions and so many things I want to know. It also just absolutely blows your mind, and I love that. It's so great. It's so interesting. As I said, I just really find this topic so interesting, and just thinking about settings in general and how far this all goes. Like Panem, for example, is just the US. You could do so much more on what's going on in the rest of the world. We don't even know how the rest of the world looks in the kind of Hunger Games scenario. So yeah, worlds blow my mind, and I think that is definitely one of the reasons why I love to read fantasy and dystopian so much, because it always is so interesting to find out about these worlds. Definitely let me know what your favorite settings are, what you want to see more of, and thank you so much for watching. I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!